Hello, everyone, and welcome to another ASUG Affiliate Webcast. My name is Anna McMorrow, Sales Engagement Coordinator here at ASUG Headquarters in Chicago. Today's webcast, Asset Intelligence, Preventive and Predictive Maintenance, and Real-Time Work Order Analytics, is brought to you by OpsVeda. Today's webcast is being recorded. That recording and the accompanying slides will be posted to the ASUG website, and all registrants will receive an email with a link to those materials. Our speakers today are Andrew Adamson, Associate Director of Facility Systems and Information at Genentech, and Sanjiv Gupta, President and CEO of OpsVeda. I'd like to remind our audience members that you can submit questions at any time during the presentation by clicking the purple Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. And now I'd like to turn it over to Sanjiv.
Thank you so much, Anna, and thank you, Andrew, for taking the time to share your experience with the audience here.
Certainly.
A brief about myself. I am the founder and CEO of OpsVeda and have worked with ASUG for many similar sessions, and it is an honor to share our experience today. Andrew, would you take a minute to introduce yourself as well?
Sure thing. I'm Andrew Adamson. I run the Facility System and Information team here at Genentech in our South San Francisco plant. I'm responsible, and my team is responsible for the system maintenance of the business processes of SAP for facility services, and we deal specifically in the business processes of facility maintenance. I also have a team that does SAP facilities master data, including MRO master data, as well as a coordination of all of our 2D and 3D models and drawing management, which stems as our entry point for some of the master data processes. And today we're going to really have a chance to talk about some of our analytics, and looking forward to sharing that with Sanjiv and the group here.
Thank you, Andrew. I will get into details of what OpsVeda provides in a bit, but we are about 6 years old as a company, and we are focused on real-time operational intelligence and supply chain visibility. In fact, operational supply chain visibility. So when I say operations, it's across various operational processes in the enterprise. As far as agenda for today's session, we will have a very brief introduction to OpsVeda, and after that, Andrew is going to walk us through his experience and experience of his users working with OpsVeda. Eventually, we will try to wrap this up with a few more observations, some of the future direction that we are taking with the product, and then we will have a live Q&A as well. So there is a Q&A option in this in the overall portal. So our request to the audience is, as and when questions come up, please feel free to upload those questions. Towards the end, we would like to spend some good amount of time answering some of these questions. What is OpsVeda? OpsVeda essentially is a real-time operational intelligence and supply chain visibility platform. The platform that we have created is holistically powered by SAP HANA, so that's the underlying database which powers the OpsVeda platform. What we are enabling for business users is an ability to sense and respond to changes that are happening across your supply chain. So this is continuous monitoring of activities in your supply chain, in your operations, in your plant floor, in your shop floor, across your complete work order processes, etc. And we will focus in on plant maintenance and work order process. That is going to be the key focus of our session today. But essentially, OpsVeda is trying to sense and respond, and it is trying to enable business users to sense and respond to things that need attention. Since it is meant for the business users, the solution is delivered in the form of real-time storyboards which are specific to a user's role. So essentially, I am a business user in an operational function. I come to work, the system tells me what needs my attention, what I should do first, what kind of things, process exceptions in my process that need my attention, and then what are some of the other indicators, leading indicators of my business that I can see, and hopefully I can change outcomes. So as most other reporting systems out there, the reporting systems do a good job of informing us about what happened, what went right or what went wrong. A real-time environment has the opportunity to help the user farm the opportunities or risks to their operation. So that's essentially what the OpsVeda storyboard enables. The same solution serves as an information hub, which is streaming data live from your back-end ERP systems, from your supply chain systems, from your work centers, from various other sensors, and this information can be intelligently correlated to predict and prescribe outcomes and actions. While today's session is primarily going to be focused on plant maintenance, OpsVeda has similar solutions focused on retail, channel, order fulfillment, procurement, logistics, manufacturing, and a few other functions. So I did mention role-specific storyboards. So from a role-specific storyboards perspective, we are enabling real-time storyboards for sales reps to be able to see what needs attention from their perspective. Are there any significant changes to their customer order patterns? Is there out of stock, near out of stock kind of situations? What are the various exceptions that they need to be working on? From a customer service perspective, I come to work, I'm in customer service, my job is to make sure that orders are fulfilled on time. So what are the shippable transactions? What are the past cancelled transactions? What are overlapping contracts? What are the exceptions once again? What are the incomplete transaction blocks and holds and so on? So these are the kinds of things that these respective roles are looking at every single day in order to be more effective in their job. And what OpsVeda is trying to create for them is to give them a live storyboard which will help them get their job done. Similarly, for sales operations, there is more focus on shipping and making sure that the supply and demand matching is in line with customer expectations. If we have to prioritize inbound containers, how do we prioritize those and so on? So live storyboards in that area. From a logistics perspective, exceptions across my 3PLs, analysis of various open shipments in my various warehouses, routing stages, that some of our customers like Macy's and Nordstrom, they have a fairly refined set of rules based upon which their suppliers have to ship to them. There is very specific dates when you can ship. There is very specific kind of packaging, customer-specific requirements, things that need to get done, and digitization of all of those requirements, putting it into the OpsVeda platform and be able to tell business users to execute in line with those requirements is something that OpsVeda enables for a few of our customers. Similarly, in sourcing, manufacturing, and I'm going to speed up here, from a manufacturing perspective, on the manufacturing floor, what are the predictive impacts from a procurement perspective? If there is a delay in manufacturing, what kind of an impact does that pose on my sales team and so on and so forth? And then eventually, the maintenance is the focus of today's session. So from a maintenance perspective, what work orders, what is the progress against those work orders, what are the delays, what is the predictive impact on manufacturing? How are we focusing, what portion of our maintenance effort goes towards preventive versus reactive maintenance? What kind of master data issues do we have? What do I see from a daily metrics perspective, health metrics perspective? And I think Andrew will spend a lot of time discussing some of these items. And what kind of predictive intelligence can we provide? So hopefully we'll be able to touch some of these things. And eventually then for the executives, not the classic analytics which provide the executives a view into how business did as of yesterday, but a live view to the executives with respect to how are we doing for the month, for the week, for the day, what are the challenges today, and so on and so forth. So really, live information presents an opportunity to go focus on things that we can improve for our business, and that's what OpsVeda is geared towards. And maintenance today is going to be one rendering of that. The ultimate opportunity for the business here, with the help of live information, businesses can capture 10 to 20% of leakage that happens in their business every single day, and that's the 10 to 20% that we are here to save our customers. How does this solution come about? So OpsVeda is in its 6th generation product at the moment. The solution is provided to customers in the form of a monthly subscription. It is pre-integrated with SAP, and you will see some of that today. OpsVeda has invested significant amount of time integrating with all things SAP. So while we do integrate with a lot of other data sources across the enterprise, be it machines, be it sensors, be it logistics, 3PL data, EDI data, and so on, but the integration with SAP is real time, and it is not based upon data replication. It is based upon capturing business events as they get registered in the SAP and connected systems. So OpsVeda has real-time integration with orders and inbound shipments and outbound shipments and purchase orders and billing documents and goods receipts and ASNs and confirmations and production orders and confirmations against those and issues against the production order and any quality notification, any work order, maintenance work orders, any notifications, and so on and so forth. So across the SAP footprint, OpsVeda has real-time event-based integration, which has a couple things it enables for our customers. It enables real-time visibility into what needs attention. It also enables implementations which are 4 to 6 to 8 weeks at best in duration, irrespective of the process that the customer selects. So the solution is enabled on cloud. It is powered by SAP HANA, as we said. By SAP HANA, we don't mean that the customer should be running their business on HANA. It basically means that OpsVeda uses SAP HANA as a database. So as you in the audience, you could be running any ERP system for that matter. But yes, as far as within the SAP ecosystem, if your ERP system is 4.7 or higher, ECC 5, 6, or anything subsequent, or SAP AFS, or SAP Retail, or FMS, etc., OpsVeda has a solution. OpsVeda has integration with that platform. So our solution is also offered on-premise, but typical preferred deployment is on cloud, and we bundle SAP HANA for our customers. Deployment in less than 4 to 6 to 8 weeks, and we enable real-time operations. Today, you would see a few visuals around what we do on the desktop, but the same solution that is available on desktop in real time is also available in real time on mobile devices. Clearly, the form factor of the smartphones is different, and therefore the drill down that you typically see on the desktop is not all relevant in mobile, and therefore not all of the drill downs are available on mobile. But essentially, real-time visibility into what needs attention, real-time visibility into what is trending, real-time visibility into KPIs and metrics, and who needs to do what on mobile as well. Okay. With that, Andrew, I would like to turn it over to you so that you can explain what the audience really came to hear in this session.
Very good. Thanks so much, Sanjiv. I want to first give you everybody a little bit of background about what Genentech is. We're a large biotech pharmaceutical company. We have large amounts of sales, both domestic and global. We started our SAP journey about 10 years ago with a implementation there, and we've been running on a networked with a couple other sites that have shown us different business processes and how they're used. The solution that we're going to be talking about today is just for our South San Francisco facility, which consists of 60 different buildings and about 6 million square feet. And we'll be concentrating primarily on the non-GMP processes of facility maintenance, making sure that we keep the lights on, keep the HVAC running, making sure that the electrical panels are running and all of that type of good stuff. We do span some areas of manufacturing, although we have a manufacturing facility organization that concentrates on that. But one of the key things that we were really trying to do was transition our behaviors from a rear-facing dashboard and KPI type of view. I'm sorry, not dashboard, but KPI, what we've done the last month, to something that's more real time, that allows us really to take the experience or the execution that we're doing right now and make a positive change instead of waiting for the next month and saying, yeah, we didn't really do a great job last month. Come on, guys, let's do a little bit better time next month. So we really want to make sure that we have 3 different types of buckets to analyze with. One would be the operational execution, and we'll get into that in just a minute as well. We want to have reliability programs and then also trending analysis. So those are going to be some of the three major buckets that we go into. And if you see here, and I won't go through all of the little 1 through 7, but we really want to talk about, work order execution, the processing areas that happens, what are some of the trending analysis, and how can I improve reliability. One of the things that we have, we started SAP 10 years ago, and there we go. We have a lot of work orders. So the campus gets over 100,000 work orders a year. And we know that the information is locked up there in SAP. And if your operations are running SAP with ours, sometimes that barrier of entry is a bit high. We're dealing with folks here in the facilities maintenance that are really good technical folks that are mechanics, metrology, measuring folks. And we really don't want them to be system experts in SAP, and specifically all of the different transaction codes. And what we found is that a lot of time and energy was spent every day generating different types of T-codes, variants, extracting those to Excel spreadsheets, throwing it into a pivot table, and creating their own special set of metrics. And I say that kind of with air quotes around the metrics because we weren't really getting into a single source of truth or one set of numbers. They were all interpretive and had different views, and we often had different parties contest the metrics that were being presented. So, we didn't really want to continue down that path. It's not real scalable, and we wanted to have one set of numbers, and we wanted to, with that SAP integrated nature, we wanted to try and use that single source of truth as our one set of numbers. So really, we didn't have some good processes there. As I mentioned, some of our pain points were fragmented work centers where we have multiple teams working throughout the different campuses. So we have 4 campuses, which basically 10 to 15 buildings per campus, and that is we have different. Sometimes we have different unions working on the different campuses, and they can't switch over. So one of those pain points is the fragmented work centers. We have some frustrations with the business process and inflexibility of the standard tool. Again, with SAP, if you're not really dedicated and precise, you have problems using the system, and we've found that. If you have any bit of turnover with any of your technicians or facilities, then you have to do the training, and that's another process that we found was relatively problematic. So as we were going through and trying to figure out how can we really meaningfully impact the business, we wanted to have the a savings of efficiencies. We wanted to reduce the backlog reduction. We wanted to see the work orders, the emergency work orders, closed out as quickly as possible. But how are we going to do that? There are techniques you can use in SAP that would drive that. But one of the key elements that we really wanted to do was changing the behaviors. And when we started to look at the elements of real-time analytics, we found 3 specific items that really helped us determine that this is what we wanted to go for. And that was insight into business processes. We have a lot of data in SAP, but it's sometimes hard to turn that data into information. And having something in real time at a dashboard that just shows up on your screen, and I'll show you a couple screens in just a minute, really is very, very powerful. Another element is the insight into the master data. So if you have folks that are just doing the rote work out there, transacting work orders, and a work order, if you had a logistics operation or an order to cash operation, a sales orders, it's kind of the same stuff. You want to know what's going on every second of the day, and what are the status changes of those elements that you're working on. We're really incorporated that work order information, and how is that being supported or not supported by the master data that we have in the system. Having that view into these real-time dashboards provides us a way of integrating that and making sure that we have the best data in the system as possible to make sure that they merge with our business processes. The last part of the changing behaviors for us, which is absolutely critical, is a feedback loop for the technicians, the folks actually executing the work orders on the floor. For the last 10 years, we hear this consistently through our end users, is that there's really not any feedback that says, am I doing a good job? Am I really looking at the right things? If I'm doing all of this data entry as I'm executing a work order, or I'm doing a round, I'm doing a measuring point, how is that coming back? And that was a problem. So we found that this is a little bit better way of going about it. We talked a little bit about all of those elements. I wanted to get now to our big metrics on day one. These are the three different areas I talked about: operational reliability and trending analysis. And you see that these are some of the metrics and the measures that Genentech really wanted to spend some time to try and move the needle in those different areas. The next couple of slides that I have will show two examples of the daily metrics, of the health metrics, and the top 20 metrics. And as I was telling you a little bit about some of the pain points that our end user folks experienced, was we wanted to improve the user experience in a meaningful way as quickly as possible. And we do have some ability to do some in-house development at Genentech, but going outside to someone like OpsVeda, we found created a faster user experience improvement that translates better and reduces some of the training required from our technicians on running the transactions. So one of the key things about these daily metrics is anybody can use them and understand. They basically just pop up directly on your screen or in real time. This is very beneficial to senior management. They don't have to come in and know the different types of T codes they run or any type of variance. They have the ability to look directly into their area of expertise. That could be a campus manager who's responsible for a number of different buildings, or perhaps even a chief or a supervisor who has a set of folks or crews that are associated with the work center. So you can see exactly what is going on for all of these daily metrics, health metrics, and top 20 metrics by your functioning work crew, which is really, really powerful. It's so fast. It takes that that problematic or the hesitancy or some of the awkwardness of getting in and doing the transaction codes in SAP by rote memory. It really makes that nice and fast. So if we take a look at some of the daily metrics here, we have, obviously, your open work orders, your upcoming work orders, and some other out of tolerance quality notification variations, which are really important to us, that allow us to kind of take a look at some of our master data and process areas. Our health metrics are really getting into the growing nature of our reliability program. And one element that we're finding is that the master data and the data collected by our operations is absolutely key to predictive and reliability programs. If you do not capture the damage code, the reason code, the object codes at the right levels, that your hierarchy is aligned with your work notification and work orders, you will not have the ability to do the analytics that you want. And one of the things that we found, when we use OpsVeda, is that the information that we see, we need to turn that data into information through some observation and analytics. And I'll show you a couple examples of that in the help matrix. And then top 20 matrix, these are some of the things that our reliability and our costing folks, as well as our labor coordinators, so our resource coordinators, are able to take a look at in the specific areas. As I mentioned earlier, we have 60 different buildings, 4 different campuses with different work crews associated and assigned to them. They also span different labor unions, and they do not necessarily are able to transfer from facility to facility, building to building. So having the ability to break this down very quickly, super fast, real time is highly, highly advantageous. So we're able to look at, the equipment by cost. How much are we spending on labor? How much labor are we actually using in those specific areas? What are the FL, so the functional locations that are being continually hit with repetitive or emergent work orders? So those are all some of the really interesting things that we're seeing. If we go into the first one, this is our daily work, and this is kind of allows us to see different ways of filtering the information. We have a very simple display here in my production information. We have a lot more open work orders in the different areas than are showed here. But one of the key things is overdue work aging and confirmed awaiting TCO, so those technical completion of the work orders. This is one of the key places that our supervisors and chiefs come into and just take a look for their specific work center to see how they are doing. So they can better align the resources in order to execute against that, as well as having a good customer service face with the either the building owner or the business owner of that area. We have often in the past received questions about what's our SLA, what's our service level agreement, how are we doing, how many overdue work orders, and again, that would take some time for them to generate. Now we have this available right here on a real-time visibility platform. They can log into their desktop. We're looking in the very near future, and Sanjiv, I want to make sure that we get this pretty darn quick, and that's the mobile. So we would have the folks that are interfacing with the building manager or the business manager of that specific area have the ability to have that on their iPhone or Android phone, whatever they want. That would really provide them with an instant view. That is so powerful. From transitioning from how did I do last month? I got a whole bunch of important things this month. I don't want to see that behavior that I had last month. This is that ability to drive the behavior right now. Go to the next one, which kind of shows the quality of notification and notification aging. This is one of those elements where we get into the master data and the way that the relationship between a work notification and a work order exists. And we have different levels of hierarchy for our equipment, and the quality of notification is really, really important. This is probably the second most popular screen that we're focusing in on right now, is because a lot of times we'll get service calls or maintenance breakdowns, and people will put in a work order for the campus or a building, and it's really the HVAC unit or the VAV box on the second floor. So if they say that if they don't go down to the correct hierarchy in that area, we don't have the catalog profile with the correct damage and reason codes associated to it. So in the example of a HVAC or a VAV box on a specific floor, if the work order or work notification was created for the building, the technician would have to go through about 70 or 150 different type of damage codes because it wasn't related specifically to that asset. And what we've seen is that people then get frustrated. They don't do the good quality work, and so they put in no suitable code found or NA not applicable. And what does that do to your reliability program and your reliability data? It totally messes it up. You do not have the good data. It's that that what you see, what you put in is what you get out. And if we're putting in garbage, we're going to get out garbage. And so that is one of the areas that our reliability program is really, really focused on, making sure that the technicians have that feedback to say, this is making a difference. I'm not going to have to continue to go and work on that HVAC unit if I put in, the specific reason that the bearing, there's electrical issues or bearings worn or the alignment of the rotating shaft is problematic. So those are all really interesting feedback mechanisms that associate not only the data, but also the business process. So we're seeing where business process is not being followed because of real data issues. So in this specific example, we have set instructions for our planners and our call centers to really ask the end user, whoever's reporting that, to get the information at the correct level. And also that the understanding is if you get that correct level information, or if you don't have the correct level information, it's very important to update your work notifications and your work order so that you're consistently getting the data in real time of what's happening and how it can be corrected. So those are some really interesting areas that we didn't really expect such a big impact right off the bat, but is pretty much day two was really, really important. If you take a look at some of the out of tolerances, we have abilities for the folks to see on the dates what readings were out of tolerance and what number of work orders and are they impact areas and whatnot. Again, one of the nice elements here is you have a static display. So if I log in, my technician, my supervisor, my senior director all have the view, but they can also change it using some of either the filtering techniques or by modifying the dates. So you can see we can look at the last 6 months, the current month, here that reporting window that's highlighted on the left-hand side. Last month, last quarter. This gives you a lot of different variations to get your information, which is very, very valuable. I'm going to go on to the next one, which are some of our health metrics. And the health metrics are interesting kind of illustrate the example that I gave just a second ago with the top 20 object codes, top 20 cause codes, top 20 damage codes. Where this is really interesting is you can filter this by building, or you can start to filter it by asset, so you can see the different elements. And that's really important because we're again trying to get in and change behaviors, and that's one of the key elements of having that feedback loop, making it very simple so that people can really see that, oh man, in building 31, we are never getting down to a true damage code or labor code that is correct. And it's not providing good information to the team.
Hey Andrew, if I may come in over here, I see one highlight on the previous slide which talks about filter, and I think it may be appropriate to point out this system. While classic, you saw Andrew talk about the various zoom functions where we can zoom into the same real-time visualization across the work centers, across cost codes, damage codes. You also saw, heard him mention about reporting windows. You also saw, heard him mention about display units. What you see here is over and above all of this, there is an ability to filter all of the data that you see in OpsVeda across the various attributes and activities that the system is tracking. Now, this attributes and activities, you can liken it to the universe of various attributes. Now, these attributes can span beyond the work order process into the manufacturing process, into the customer process, into the shipping process, and so on. So think all attributes. If OpsVeda is connected to 5 other systems and your quality systems and your supply chain systems and your partner systems, those attributes can be available. So suddenly I can filter the intelligence that I have in front of me across hundreds of those attributes, all on the fly in real time. The fact that it is all based upon SAP HANA allows us to make sure that there are no materialized views that are being stored here, which means I am going against the raw data and be able to provide in real time visibility into what might be relevant and what might need attention. Just a a quick comment of the depth of the integration that we have with SAP and corresponding systems.
No, I think that's
Andrew, back to you.
Great point. Yeah, that's a great point, Sanjiv. Thanks so much for pointing that out. One other element that I've skipped over a little bit is, we have these nice graphs here that show us all of this. The graphs are nice. They provide easy information and are very accessible. But for those folks that are curious, one of the things that we've also seen with using this work order analytics tool by OpsVeda is it really is unlocking the creativity in some of our folks that have more aptitude in doing some analytics, because as soon as you either click on any of the bar graphs, you go right down into the base data in SAP, which is wonderful. So you can see all of the orders that fit that category. You can see all the work notifications or all the pieces of equipment that are highlighted in that area. So you get down to the details very, very quickly. You're able to export those into Excel. You're able to export it into an email message and send it on its way to different work crews. One of our chiefs here takes a look at that daily metrics. He clicks on some of the elements, gets it into an email, and sends it to his team and says, guys, this is what we need to do today. This is what's going to move the needle and create positive experiences and for our customers. So that's really, really important. It also allows us to, as we come by and take a look at some of the different health metrics that we're actually on the top 20 metrics. So the equipment costs of where are you spending most of your money? This is really important as well. So you can recognize and start to build or validate your criticality assessments. Unfortunately, we at Genentech don't have unlimited resources and unlimited technicians, so we really have to prioritize what people do. This is one of those ways of really clearly articulating where the information is, where the problems are, and where we can start to correct very quickly. So you look at the left-hand side of all of these graphs right here on the screen. These are some of the areas we probably want to attack first, which is very, very nice. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next slide, which would be slide 14. And this is some of those object codes that I mentioned earlier, the cause codes. This is very, very important for us, enable us to, again, take a look at the business processes, what we're doing. We can do analysis by the actual work centers or the buildings, the teams of certain buildings on how they're progressing on their business process. Are they doing it every single time? Are we seeing consistent areas that are problematic? And those type of areas, which is very, very nice. As we go on to slide number 15 here, this is one of the health matrix. Well, we get to put up a little bit of the objectivity here, where we define what we believe is, no problem, green, moderate problem, yellow, and highlighted reds where we need to spend some attention. One of the things that I think that's interesting with OpsVeda is that it pulls all the data out of SAP into the HANA database, allows you to do different view sorts and present that information in real time on a dashboard, but it also allows you to potentially enter in and select different objectivity measures to show how we're working on some of the work orders and where they're being done. So if you look in the bottom left-hand corner of this screen, you see the reactive work. And you'll notice that we have labs in California, some different areas. The reactive work right there in this example is showing 100%. That's not really best practice. That's something we want to work on. That could be due to business process where people are putting in the work order as a PMO1 as an emergent, or perhaps they do not have the master data is not set up with a maintenance plan, schedule, and all of that. We've seen that in the past where sometimes we've had to make compromises and just making sure that we have the information, the rote master data in, but we don't have a maintenance plan established with maintenance steps. And what you see is reactive work when it runs a fail, and then we have to do something about it. This is one of those areas that we can take a look, see what our business process and what our execution's doing, and how that related to our master data. And it also creates that feedback mechanism or feedback loop for our master data team to say, yep, we can take a look in this building and try and reduce that number from a red objective setting down to a green. What do we got to do to get there? Additionally, we have the reactive maintenance costs in the bottom right-hand side. One of the going up there, also we have the mean time between failures. That's really, really important, and one of the key elements of the reliability program. And what we're finding is that some of the data that we've been putting in has not been assisting and driving that reliability program forward. So that gives us, again, another visual clue in areas that we need to improve on and concentrate upon. So those are some of the really interesting areas that we've been working on today. If we move forward, this is another element that we're toying with. This one is a preview of a spider chart of, again, doing using the HANA database to put in objective values in specific areas. So this is allowing us to see the overall criticality and health matrix of certain areas or organizations over time. And again, it provides us that value to show it up on a dashboard very quickly. Sanjiv, I don't know if you want to talk anything more about this one and then transition to the next slide. I know we're coming up quickly on a transition point. So this is going to be an exciting point that we're looking forward to in the near future.
Yeah. So Andrew, thank you very much. That was awesome. I want to take a few minutes and maybe show take a live system for some of the other visuals on the system. So I believe we were here. We talk about maintenance health metrics. So Andrew mentioned about objective metrics. Objective metrics, which is based upon live data, which already has certain structures, certain numbers based upon which we can now categorize based upon what's happening. This is what it means. So again, this is a live system. Here we do not have all red and green. That everything is not red. Hopefully, some of it is green as well. And then there is always a need, because the operations can be vast, and the operations are vast. The objective metrics are not always sufficient. So if you have objective metrics as well, and you want to take a look at an overall view of the facilities team, there are various things that we are working with Andrew's team to put together. And this is a lab preview, if you will, where we are looking at across a multivariate, multiple variables across multiple dimensions, what is the relative scoring. So if I wanted to see from a utilities perspective how we are doing versus how is our manufacturing area doing versus how is our packaging area doing, some of this information that comes alive for the customer as well. Certain other pieces to mention, there are various other metrics that we haven't yet gotten to, right? For example, at least not currently implemented at Genentech, for example, OEE and a few other metrics. Andrew mentioned two things along the way, and since we are not showing the live application at that point in time, it was not possible to show that piece. One is when you have a live storyboard, as a user, I come to work as an executive, I might be more interested in looking at trends than certain metrics. But if I was a user and I was looking at my open orders, I can drill down into against any of these visual graphics. I can drill down into the corresponding data which is making that graphic. Against that corresponding data, if I have various attributes of that data is available to me, and those attributes is not just limited to the various columns that you see in some of these reports. It can also span the hundreds of different attributes across the gamut of functions that we have connected the system to. Whenever I see a grid information, while we want the users to work on this live system and not necessarily have to go into spreadsheets and so on, but whenever there is a grid information within OpsVeda, it can be downloaded into Excel at the click of a button. So it's all available for me to do further analysis into a different system. So that is there. If I wanted to take a few line items and send an email into a colleague of mine, I can do that. I can email my colleague saying, hey, can you take a look at these work orders? Why are they still open, and so on. And then one more key element to point out is if I wanted to take a look at what has happened to why is this work order still over here, right? Why is this, what is the problem because of which it is still open, and so on. Here is the underneath architecture, the information hub that OpsVeda is collecting all planned dates and actual dates against the work orders. And as I said at the very beginning of this session, against the sales orders, against the purchase orders, against the manufacturing orders, against the quality notifications, and so on. So imagine a system which has a map of all process changes along the way in the form of business events, which is being captured and correlated as and when those changes happen. Now imagine having that information in a live system, and then users are accessing information in the context of what needs their attention. If I'm an end user, my job is to take care of the work orders that are assigned to me in an expeditious manner. I only see those work orders that I focus on the daily metrics. If I'm a manager, I need to see the effectiveness across my team. I would see certain different kinds of metrics. And as an executive, I might see different set of metrics. So along the way, while we are on the system is we have mainly focused on maintenance. We have talked about daily metrics today. We have talked about health metrics. We have talked about top 20 metrics, open transactions, and how they are trending. And Andrew briefly spoke about being able to drill down by planned hours, by counts and impacts and so on, being able to go through various time horizons across, ad hoc or, current quarter, current month, so which means there's an element of history, being able to go through various kinds of order types, cause, defect codes, and I can go into all of these codes, and I can then drill down, right? So we do that. We do this for plant maintenance, but then we also do this all the way starting from on-shelf inventory availability or retail sales tracking to order fulfillment, to sourcing, to logistics, to manufacturing, quality, and a few other functions that are hidden in this particular environment in order to make sure that we can accommodate it all in the view that you are seeing over here. The environment that the Genentech team has is extremely configurable even by users and also end users and power users. If we want to hide certain things, we can always hide and move around reports that we don't want to see. We can create, the users can decide what is relevant to them, what is not relevant to them. I was beginning to say they can filter information, and this filtration of information can go through all kinds of attributes, and these attributes can be across a variety of things that are coming from my SAP system. And these can be all the way into hundreds of different attributes. So now imagine an environment which is able to give you live information, and not only in the context of what needs my attention, but also for the analyst and for those who are so inclined to be able to drill down and really do research and analysis and predict things that often go wrong. So how does all of this come together? Typical implementation. Now all customers are different, but we do stand by our timeline of 4 to 6 weeks. Typical implementation, week 7 and 8 for go live and stabilization. In some cases, things can be done faster. Essentially, it comes together by instantiating the OpsVeda environment for the customer in week 1, delivering transports to the customer in week 1. Hopefully, the transports make into the customer's dev system and eventually QA system. We enable in scope, whether it is maintenance or manufacturing or logistics or order fulfillment, depending upon what is the scope. We configure corresponding storyboards. The data that is streaming from the backend systems tells the story. So essentially, by the end of week 3, the OpsVeda process is by the end of week 3, I should be able to play back this solution with the customer-specific, customer process and customer data-specific storyboards at the end of 3 weeks. And then week 4, 5, and 6, we perfect those storyboards for the customer and eventually go live. That's the process. Fairly lightweight. The amount of business user engagement is fairly low, and I think Andrew can answer questions to that effect. And essentially, just to conclude here, and we should get to the Q&A as well, ultimately any such initiative, a transformative initiative, should be driven by certain business drivers which present the business case. So if there are too many disruptions, Andrew went into details about what their rationale for moving forward with this initiative was. So what is the trigger point? Are there significant disruptions? Are we concerned about our ability to scale? Do we lack measurements, or is there is a large pool of people we can't really measure how effective they are and where we are spending the money, right? So we all want to invest, but we want to invest in the right place so that we can grow and transform our business. So lack of measurements, or too many spreadsheets, or too many expedites. My management is pushing me for leading indicators rather than indicators based upon yesterday's information. So if those are the situations, I think OpsVeda could be a great partner for you. And typically we like to anchor scope to specific questions, and then so that we can deliver quick wins, deploy in 4 to 6 weeks, and eventually monitor, improve scale. I took that rather fast. I think we should get into Q&A. Anna or Vikas, can we do some questions and answers? I do see a few popping in.
Sure. Thank you, Sanjiv. Thank you, Andrew. We do have a bunch of questions. We'll try to see if we can get them answered, all of them. So the first one I see is coming from Jason Dyer. It's a question for Andrew. Andrew, I noticed you have OSI PI deployed. How are you utilizing that data along with SAP data for analytics?
That's a great question, and that's one of the key drivers that I was really interested in. That's going to be our phase 2. Right now, we're really trying to move the behaviors and making sure that we have the ability to execute the SAP functions, but we have all of our alarming and facility data historian that's running on the OSI PI system, and the ability to link those together in the HANA database is there. All we really need is a Rosetta Stone to translate the asset that's a functional location and an asset in the SAP to the non-integrated OSI PI database, and we'll be able to then correlate the information between those two systems. One of the precursors that we really want to do from our business perspective is to make sure that we have the right analytics in OSI PI so we can be a little bit predictive, and we want to make sure that we have that ability to identify some trends and use some analysis to be able to say, okay, yeah, we see these 3 alarms go off. We know that creates a work order in the past. That's going to be some of the areas that we really try and drive that predictive analytics in the next phase. We're not there, but we're right on that path. And I see Reynolds is going down that same thought process. So I think this is an area that I'm excited with that provides us some ability to move forward there in the short term. Next question.
Okay. The next question is also related to predictive maintenance, and the question is, please highlight the predictive capabilities of OpsVeda.
So if I may take this, Andrew, so essentially OpsVeda is leveraging, the ultimate answer over here is, can you predict the machines that are about to break down before they break down? And that's a fundamental question that a food and beverage customer recently asked us, and we are working on that. But essentially, OpsVeda is leveraging all of the historical information, all of the historical heartbeats that we are collecting over a period of time, and we are doing some probabilistic modeling. These models help us with the help of certain libraries that we have. These models help us predict what is happening, and we are able to predict certain trends in the operations that you see. But the ultimate, as I said, is can you predict that a machine is about to break down before it breaks down, and that's the journey that we are on. Vikas? Okay,
thank you. So the next question we have is from Steve. How many roles storyboards are available out of the box?
Well, awesome question. This is close to my heart. As I said, that I may have shown a little bit. So for retail sales tracking, on-shelf availability, order fulfillment, sourcing, manufacturing, logistics, plant maintenance, quality, and so these are all out of the box we have. And under each of these storyboards, there are 5, 6 different sets of views. So there are hundreds of different out of the box cookie cutter assets that we have created for our prospects. But essentially, these storyboards are configurable. The only way OpsVeda is able to deliver the outcome for customers in 6 weeks is that in 3 weeks, we take care of the technical integration and the data and all of that. And after that, once the data is streaming in, everything in OpsVeda is configurable, which means a customer can tailor these storyboards specific to the user roles, right? Every organization can be structured a little bit differently. So essentially, 7 or 8 different storyboards, but it could be configured very specific to our customers. Number of storyboards is not really what is driving the complexity here. It's the number of data sources, what are the various kinds of data sources, and how rapidly can we bring them all, right? And we typically do it in 3 to 4 weeks. Next question, Vikas.
Okay. Next question. What was one of the largest surprises when implementing the tool? So I guess this is for Andrew.
Just how fast anomalies were found. Literally within the first 10 seconds of when we went live, I had one of our chiefs identify a work order that was assigned to a group that was not in a manufacturing environment. So it was a non-GMP work group assigned to a GMP work order, and it was just sitting there not being executed for a number of days. So not only did it show up late, it also showed that the data was incorrect because an impact GMP area asset was assigned to an incorrect work center and work team. And we hold these sessions twice a week where we're really just trying to find those type of analysis so people can understand how easy and fast it is to see these anomalies and that indicate an improvement or a process that needs to be changed or master data needs to be corrected.
Yeah, if I may here, as Andrew mentioned, once the system is live, it's less about reporting. It's about identifying what is going wrong right now and fixing it, right? So the system helps identify the kinds of problems that have always happened or that may have been happening, and then begin to fix, begin to change user behavior, begin to change system behavior, begin to change data behavior, and so on and so forth. Some of that came through. Vikas?
So one other question coming from Jason is, how does a user get back to the execution system if they need to take action? Do they just run both systems?
Andrew, you want to take that, or should I answer that?
No, I'll go ahead and take that. There's 2 different ways. So you're absolutely right. This is basically a read-only system. Our single source of truth is SAP. We would run both simultaneously. It's also a way of segmenting out the work execution for the planners, the supervisors, or if you're at a different type of customer service level where you're running on your mobile application on your iPad or whatever, you're able to show that easily to the end user and let the execution happen on the floor where it belongs. I hope that answers.
I'll try to. Yeah, I know we are running over hour, but probably a couple of last questions. One question coming from Peter. Were there major concerns with Genentech security or GMP data being pushed or stored on a cloud solution?
Yeah, and I think this is probably a great one to wrap up on. Peter, you're absolutely correct. The OpsVeda has the ability to be on the cloud. We specifically chose not to do it on the cloud. We're on premises behind our firewall using our internal system. So it's not pushing anything out to the cloud. We have a high degree of security concerns, and so we do not do that. So we chose an on-premises within our own firewall. It's not shared outside of our processes and our systems. Great question.
All right. Thank you so much. I think that will be the last question. Back to Anna.
Great. Thank you so much, Sanjiv, Andrew, and Vikas, for a great webcast. On behalf of ASUG, I'd like to thank OpsVeda, as well as all of you who took the time out today to attend this webcast. Once again, the recording and slides from today's program will be posted to the ASUG website, and all registrants will receive an email with a link to those materials. And with that, I'd like to close today's program. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Anna.